is in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to be reading chapter 4's summary. This chapter teaches how to import data into a database and export it out, mainly using CSV files and the copy command. So now if I head over to the exercise 1 for chart itself, they've got a statement with copy, and then this with statement in a copy command is where you tell PostgreSQL
Yeah.
how to read the file you are importing. Think of it as the instructions for understanding the file's format. So if we go to the PG admin,
Yeah.
you can see I've got copy movies from my file directory, and then the with statement here, and then it's just showing random data. So yeah, that's it for exercise 1. I'll hand it over to exercise 2.
So yeah, that's pretty much exercise one. So format CSV, that's the format of the text file you're importing. Then header, make sure that everything for the header, make sure that the first row, I mean the first column, it gets separated from the rest of the data. Delimiter, pretty much the value that's separating all the codes, and then quote hashtag, it's pretty much the quotes that you're dealing with here. So that's pretty much what it is. On to me now, right? So here's the SQL query you need, along with how to export it to a CSV file using PostgreSQL's copy command. So the SQL command, so copy select. So pretty much, for my summary, it's pretty much going over chapter 2. So this is the command that you're going to be working with. So copy to, then width. So that's the command I'm going to be making use of. So select your namesake, US abbreviation, housing unit, count 100%. This only puts only three columns out for country name, state, and housing units. So from top 20 housing counties, this is my target table. So this is where I'm getting all of my info from. And then order by housing units, count 20 to 100. So it sorts from highest to lowest housing units, and then limits 20, keeps only the top 20 counties. Then copy to with former CSV header, exports the results as a CSV file with the header row. So that's pretty much what it is. Replace, so yeah, that's pretty much what you're dealing with here. So this is the actual path. And then the command runs with server-side permissions. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what we're dealing with here. So it's just explanation of the code that you can be working on. So select from top 20 housing counties, limits 20. So limit 20 is pretty much the number of counties you can be importing. Then my path then with format CSV, then header. So the CSV formats the text file that you're importing. Then the headers make sure that the first column is seen as a header and not like the rest of the data. And then yeah, that's pretty much what we're dealing with here. So on to the actual magic. So as you can see here, what we do here is we copy, U.S. counties 2010. We copy it first in order by housing unit, count 100%. Then descending, so it descends from the top one county to the from the county with the highest housing unit count to the county with the lowest housing unit count, and then you copy that table, right, the one that we have here, and then you're going to create a file, a CSV file called top 20 housing counties .csv with format CSV header as explained, limited by 20 counties, holding by housing unit count 100%, descending from US County 2010, then to your namesake, US abbreviation, then house unit count 100%. So that's pretty much what we're dealing with. And then yeah, this is the correct answer for the exercise. The file is fictional, so the copy will always fail. Okay, so James went over that already. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're dealing with. So what we're gonna be doing here is after that we're gonna create the table. Use county South 20 housing units, geo name, VARCHAR, making sure that the number of characters in a data string amounts to like 90, and below that still use abbreviation varchar. So make sure that the abbreviation only amounts to 2 and no more above that. Housing unit count 100%, right? So yeah, that's the integers that we're dealing with. 100% integers. The copy from US counties top 20 housing, then from our top 20 housing counties, so on and so forth. And then yeah, then obviously that's going to create the table and then select from US counties top 20 housing. So that's the actual magic. So when we're done creating the table, so obviously we created a new file using this command. So we use the table US counties that we have already, create a new file called top 20 housing counties with format CSV, then header, with geo namespace use abbreviation, housing unit count 100%, limit 20, so on and so forth. And then yeah, that's pretty much what we're dealing with. And then last but not least, select from US counties top 20 housing.
Okay, so I think
Ju-
we're doing chapter like exercise 3 now. Okay, so here, right, what they wanted is that we had to imagine uh, having a table where it can record datas where we have 8 on numbers and 3 decimal points. So to actually show this when creating a table. Okay, so as you can see from my side, we have create table measurement example, and within it we have value numeric 8,3. So what does this 8,3 mean? 8. This is where our all integers are. So we can have 8 different values before the decimals. Then for the 3 here, that's the maximum amount of decimal numbers that we can have. So 8, it can be literally 5 numbers, so maybe 10,000. The decimals can be uh, around 668 after the decimal point. So once we create that table, we can add values that fit within this range. Otherwise, we will get an error. So yeah, that's it for chapter 4.
No problem. No problem.
Nice.
Secure.
That one, dude.
Secure. God bless. Thank you.